Sixth graders, so today we are going to talk about mean, median, mode, and range. So you might have heard about these topics before in fifth grade, or they might be new. The most important thing today is that we must, not an option, we must put numbers least to greatest. So we are going to have to put our numbers in order, least to greatest. That's going to be our first step. So let's talk about a few vocab terms. So mean, okay? Obviously, mean does not mean that somebody's being rude to you or something. In math, mean is your average, okay? Mean means average. So you can think of this like your grade that goes in the grade book. So to find the average, what you do is you take all of your grades. So let's say you make like a 70, a 60, a 100, a 25. You add all those numbers, all of your numbers, and then you divide that by the amount of numbers. Okay? So again, like if I had like a 70 and a 72 and a 50, I would add all those up, and then I have a 1, 2, 3, so I would divide that by 3. That's how you get an average, okay? The next vocab term is median. So some of you might know median, like if we are driving down the road, okay? So median is that grassy place in between the two sides. So median is the middle. So median, middle. So if we have a list of numbers, we want to find the middle number, okay? Now, it does get a little tricky. If we have two numbers that are in the middle, so if we have like an even amount of numbers, there's not a perfect middle. So when we have two numbers, we add the two numbers, and since there's two numbers, we divide it by 2. So essentially you take the average of those two numbers. Okay, our next vocab term is mode. Mode means most repeated. Okay, so it's the one that happens the most. Most repeated. Mode, most. Range. Range means we're going to take our big number. I'm not even going to write it big in all caps. Big minus the small number. So we take our big number and we subtract the small number. Okay? And then lastly, this one is a mouthful, interquartile range. Say that for me, interquartile range. That is Q3 minus Q1, okay? And Q3 is our right middle, and Q1 is our left middle. Now, if some of this doesn't really make sense, that's okay. We are about to practice, and hopefully it will. Okay, so I want you to add one more thing here for interquartile range. You must find the median first. You cannot find the interquartile range until you find the median. All right, so let's actually look at some numbers and see what this does. So it says use the table to find the following. So we have different prices and some numbers, and we want to find the mean, median, mode, range, and interquartile range of these numbers. So the first thing I told you that we have to do is put them in order. So looking, my smallest number is 14, so I'm going to write that up here so it's out of our way. And I'm going to mark it out. That's really important to mark it out as you go. I then have a 24. And notice I have two 24s, so I'm going to write it again. And then 36, 40, and 45. And then I can go through and check. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. So I'm going to always make sure I have the correct amount. So mean, look back at your notes. Mean means average. So we're going to take all those numbers, we're going to add them together, and then we're going to divide by the amount of numbers. So to write that mathematically, I would write 14 plus 24 plus 24 plus 36 plus 40 plus 45. And then I would divide that by the amount of numbers I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I would divide by 6. Now I already did the math for us just to save us a little bit of time. All of those added together is 183. And then it would still be over 6. And then we would actually need to cowboy and horse that. And if we did, that would equal 30.5. So again, you would actually have to do that division, but I just saved us the time and went ahead and did that math for us. All right, so median. This one's really important. Median, remember, is the middle. So the way we are going to do this is we are going to start with the outside two numbers, and we are going to slowly make our way in. So on this side, I am going to put one line through the 14, and then on the other side, I'm going to put a line through the 45. And then I'm going to keep doing that until I find the middle number. So next is 24. Back to the other side, I do 40. Now notice, if I did do the 24, I now have 3 on this side and 2 on this side. So that's technically not the middle. So I can't mark out anything else. This is where we have 2 numbers in the middle. So I'm going to add those together and divide by how many numbers do I have? 2. So I have to add them together and divide by 2. So that would give me 24 and 36 would be 60 divided by 2, which is 30. All right, so if you have 2 numbers in the middle, add them together, divide by 2. All right, moving on to mode. Remember, mode means the most written. So looking at my data up here, which number was written the most? 24, because it was written twice. That's simple. Mode is one of our easiest ones, as long as you can remember what it means. All right, range is the biggest number minus the smallest number. So my biggest number was 45. My smallest number was 14. And then I can subtract, and I get 31. All right, interquartile range. So now we need to go back up here to this list. So technically my middle was right here in between these two, and it was 30. So now what I need to do is now I'm going to look at just these numbers on this side of the median, and I am going to find the median of just these. So when I do that, I am going to mark out the 24 and the 14. So 24 would be left in the middle, and that is going to be my Q1. Now I'm going to look on this side of the middle, and I'm going to mark it out. So again, 36, 45. So 40 would be in the middle, and that would be my Q3. So when I go down here to solve, I would do 40 minus 24. So I'd have to borrow, that would give me 16. And that is how we go through and answer those questions with some data. So let's do our last one. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit so we can see good. All right, first thing is we have to put these numbers in order. So my smallest number is a 3, and I'm gonna write that down here at the bottom so we have room to work. So 3, 5, 14, what's our next one? Looks like 17, 23, And then we have two 26s. Let me make sure I mark those out. And then 30 and 54. And then don't forget to count and make sure. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I am good to start solving. All right, this one, the first thing they want is the median. So we are going to find the middle because median is middle. So starting on the outside, we go back and forth until we get to the middle. 1, and we mark it out. Then we go to the next ones. Okay, one at a time. And don't go too fast because then you might do more on one side than the other. So I think this is the middle. To double check, I'm going to count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is indeed my middle. So I'm going to go ahead and circle it. So my median is 23. When there's only one number in the middle, we don't have to add and divide. All right, mode is most written. So which one was written the most? 26. Good, it was written twice. All right, range, big minus small. So 54 minus 3. We hopefully know that is 51. Very good. And then interquartile range, that is Q3 minus Q1. So remember, we got to find the median. Once we find the median, we go to the two sides. So this side, and I find the middle of this side, and I find the middle of this side for my Q's. So on this side, I'm going to mark out 3, 17. And then notice I have two numbers, and I need to find the middle of those two numbers. So I would have to do 5 plus 14 divided by 2. 5 plus 14 is 19 divided by 2, and that is actually going to give me a decimal of 9.5. So 9.5 is what's between 5 and 14. Okay, and then let's go to the other side. So the other side, I'd mark out 26 and 54. So between those two, I actually already know that if I start counting 27, 28, 29, 30, 28 is going to be in the middle, but mathematically we could add and divide by 2, which would give me 56 divided by 2, which is indeed 28. Because, again, if I have 27, 28, 29, 28 would be in the middle. Okay, so this is my Q1, this is my Q3. So 28 minus 9.5, I have to add a 0 and a decimal because I have to line up my decimals. So that becomes a 7, bring down, so borrow again. So 18.5 would be my interquartile range. So biggest thing today is you have to remember those vocabulary